So now we saw some ionic compounds formulas. You have seen how formulas are made. So now, based on all the knowledge that we had so far, a small recap, which will actually make you understand the whole story better. A small recap. If I tell you that you have group 1, you have group 2, and then you have group 13, group 14, group 15, and then group 16 and group 17, group 18 obviously. Now we'll just look at their valencies once again. So come, if you look at group 1, then all the elements form +1. All the elements will form +1. If you look at group 2, so they form +2. Group 13 they'll form +3. Group 14 छोड़ के रखेंगे. 15 में -3, -2, -1, 0. Okay, this we will not discuss right now. And group 18 obviously we have got 0. ठीक है? Is this much understood for all of you? This brings us to the story. The next story is that of understanding what is an ion. What is an ion? Okay. यहाँ पे ध्यान दीजिए फिर. So an ion is an intermediate entity. Intermediate entity. Ions are not stable. Okay. Ion is an intermediate entity. Why do we then study it? Just to understand the mechanism, you need to understand the entity. Ion is an intermediate entity. So after that is formed after an atom has lost or gained electrons, तो ऐसा आयन रियल लाइफ में तो होता नहीं है. दिस इज समथिंग ऑफ एन इंटरमीडिएट एंटिटी. बीच में थोड़ी देर के लिए बनेगा, फाइनली कुछ और बन जाएगा. You know it. So suppose we know what is an egg and we know what is an omelette. Liquidy, sticky on the pan, that is something intermediate entity. That's not a finished product. Finished product is omelette, raw material is egg. So iron, we will always have an atom as a raw material and some compound or some molecule as the finished product. बीच में ion form होता है. So उस ion को जानना हमारे लिए जरूरी है. So ion is an entity that is formed after an atom has lost. Now if you look at group 1, group 2, group 3, all these atoms are what? If I take someone from group 1, let's say I take an example from group 1, what will be it? Sodium from group 1. Okay. Somebody is texting. Is it Piyusha? Hey Anya, did you have an extended class today? Extended class? See, Piyusha only. It's... Can you forward Piyusha this meeting ID?
Yeah.
If she is on Skype, are you able to do, or should I? You can do. Just ping her. First ping her saying that. No issues. Okay. So if I look at a group 1 example, sodium becomes what? Sodium ion and loses 1 electron. If I take a group 2 example, then I would take, say, magnesium becomes magnesium 2 plus 2 electrons. And if I take a group 13 example, I can take aluminum, which is becoming Al 3 plus 3 electrons. समझ में आया? इसको, so whenever you get a positive entity, the positive ions are known as cations. And this is how you write it so that you remember it. The T is written like a plus. The positive ions are known as cations. So group 1 will give me monovalent cations. Monovalent cations. Mono means 1. Group 2 will give me divalent cation. Clear हो रहा है अभी? Okay. And group 13 will give me trivalent cations. So what did you learn? First you learned about an ion. An ion is an entity, that is intermediate entity, formed after an atom has either lost or gained an electron. If an atom loses electron, then the ion is a positive charged ion and it is known as a cation. If you lose one electron, you form a monovalent cation, divalent cation, trivalent cation. ठीक है? इसी तरह से we need to so we need to see if an atom gains. So cation के लिए क्या होता है? cation के लिए atom loses electron. Okay, atom will form cation and lose electron. Okay, and in the case of anion, we will have an atom. The atom will gain, say, n number of electrons, and then it becomes what? It becomes an ion with n minus charge. Okay, and this is known as a anion. So let's look at group 15. At group 15, we will have nitrogen will eat up 3 electrons and become N3 minus. Okay, then group 16, I can take oxygen, eats up 2 electrons and forms O2 minus. And group 17, I have chlorine, eats up 1 electron and Cl minus. Clear ho gaya? This will be called as a trivalent anion, divalent anion, monovalent anion. Marriages can happen across each other as long as you satisfy the valency. Monovalent marries monovalent, easy. Divalent marries divalent, easy. Trivalent marries trivalent, easy. Mono and di, then you have to do some adjustment. Mono and tri, समझ में आया ना? लास्ट क्लास में तो किया था. ऐसे ही अगर समझ में नहीं आ रहा तो एक मोनो ले लो. सोडियम ये है +1, इसको आप ट्राई से कराओ नाइट्रोजन के साथ -3. प्लस और माइनस को नहीं देखना है, तो ये 3 को ले लेता है, ये 1 को ले लेता है, अल्टीमेटली बन जाएगा Na3N. ठीक है ना? सो आर आयंस क्लियर बच्चा? ग्रुप 14 हैज और शेयरिंग. जब हम कोवेलेंट कंपाउंड्स पढ़ते हैं तब पढ़ेंगे. ग्रुप 14 आयनिक कंपाउंड नहीं फॉर्म. कोवेलेंट मींस वेयर sharing of electrons takes place, because they cannot, they need 4. Yeah. So 4 means they need to get 4. Maximum you get is 3, and maximum somebody will give you is also 3. Share 4. So their concept is different. That you'll know. This you'll see later in grade 10 more. And once we finish grade 9 syllabus, we will study many other topics also. Time रह जाएगा हमारे पास. We'll study much more advanced things. That time we'll discuss all these so that your 10th becomes easier. Clear? Can I rub this motion now? Okay. So one small thing which has no relation with this particular aspect of discussion, but still you should know. It's known as atomicity. What is it known as? Atomicity. Okay. Before understanding atomicity, let's understand there are certain elements. There are certain elements, usually all non-metals. All non-metals. Now, why all non-metals? Usually not all non-metals. There are certain elements, and those elements have to be non-metals which actually form molecules. Which actually form molecules. ठीक है ना? जैसे oxygen. You don't breathe oxygen atom. You breathe oxygen molecule. But you're still breathing the element only. As we know, element can exist in 2 forms: atomic form as well as molecular form. Now let us try to look at oxygen as a molecule. तब आपको ये सब समझ में आ जाएगा. So this is oxygen. Now this will be a little bit high level, okay? And this is the valence shell of oxygen. Valence shell of oxygen. What is the atomic number of oxygen? 8. So the valence shell has how many electrons? 6 electrons, okay? So let's make the 6 electrons. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and 6. ये एक oxygen है, ठीक है? Is it stable? No. It needs 8 electrons, है ना? So what we do, we bring another oxygen atom, and how many does it have? It also has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now what happens? Between these 2 oxygens, they will share electrons. This is called covalent bond, which you will actually study in grade 10. They'll share electrons. Sharing means these shared electrons. I have shared this marker pen with you. Are you the owner of it? Yes. Yes. Am I the owner of it? Yes. We have shared. लेकिन शेयरिंग में एक लफड़ा है. रात को ये किसके घर में रहेगा? वहीं से झगड़ा शुरू हो जाता है. Why will Yatharth only keep it with him? We have both put our money to buy it. Are you understanding? That's why chemistry is like literature. Sharing कभी भी strong नहीं होता है. Let's see now. Now count for this particular oxygen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Satisfied? Now count for this oxygen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Satisfied? So this sort of a bond, oxygen forms a bond with itself. So a bond needs 2 electrons. So oxygen, oxygen, double bond. This is called a double bond. Understood? So is this the element? Yes. But it is not in atomic form. It is in molecular form. समझ में आया? It is in molecular form. So how do we define this word called atomicity? We will learn about something called atomicity. ये question आता है, define atomicity. Atomicity is the count of atoms of an element present in one molecule of the element. Just try and understand. Oxygen. So what is the element that we were discussing out here? Our discussion was about oxygen. One molecule of the element, one molecule of the oxygen is shown as O2. How many atoms are here? How many atoms are here? 2 atoms. Therefore, oxygen's example, atomicity of oxygen is 2. Atomicity of oxygen is 2. ठीक है? मतलब एक नॉन मेटल को फ्री स्टेट में एग्जिस्ट करने के लिए या तो ये एलिमेंट में एग्जिस्ट हो सकता है कौन? ग्रुप 18s कैन एग्जिस्ट इन फ्री स्टेट. In their case, their atomicity will be 1. No, why will they combine? जरूरत ही नहीं है. जबरदस्ती का क्यों झमेला मोल रहे हो? So their atomicity will be 1. Whereas oxygen's atomicity is 2. Are you understanding? Oxygen's atomicity is 2. So why did I say non-metals? Metals can never show this sort of behavior. Cu2 नहीं हो सकता है. A copper is a metal. A metal never wants electron. Look at all the metals are on the left hand side. They always lose electrons. Share means what? I am retaining its ownership. I don't want this marker. Will I ever share it then? No.
Sir, oxygen is in group 6.
Non-metal है.
Yeah, gain it.
It gains electron. Gains means it will support sharing, na? When you share, you are gaining, Baba. Let's take sodium. Does sodium gain or lose electron? You tell me. Does it lose or share? It loses electron. So if you make sodium share electron, that means sodium sharing is also gaining, na?
Yes.
I am a person who does not like sandwiches. Is it clear? You want to share your sandwich with me. Will I like you? No. Simple. Therefore, you will not see this nature with metals. Metals don't like sandwiches. And you are trying to share sandwiches with metals. Non-metals love to eat sandwiches. I love sandwich. और वहीं तुम बोल रहे हो जयदीप सर हाफ ले लेंगे यार मैं तो पूरा भी खा सकता हूँ तू हाफ दे रहा है दे खा लेता हूँ. I love sandwiches. You're sharing sandwich with me. I love you. Are you getting it? So
What is that?
which one? That is that every bond is shown like this. A bond involves 2 electrons. ये जो sharing है ना, it's like a bond. Clip समझ लो एक तरह. So let's see some more examples in this case. Okay. Shall I rub this? Okay. This much I'm rubbing, and let's see some more atomicity examples. Let's take something in say what do you call group 17. Let's take chlorine. Okay. What is the outermost shell of chlorine? Chlorine is 287. Agreed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Another chlorine comes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This chlorine wants 1 electron. This chlorine wants 1 electron. Chal share kar le. So chlorine will be here also. Atomicity of chlorine is 2. But there is a small catch. इसकी atomicity 2 है with a single bond. इसकी atomicity 2 है with a double bond. Are you understanding? Here one pair of electron is shared. That's why bond 1 दिखा रहा है. Nitrogen में triple bond आएगा. देखो nitrogen, what is the outermost orbit? 7, 2, 5. 5 means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another nitrogen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, so that it looks good. That's all. You can't make a bond from here to here like a snake. Count for this nitrogen, already 5, 3 came from this side, 8. For this nitrogen, already 5, 3 came from here. So nitrogen as a molecule will also exist as N2. This is also N2. This is also Cl2. This is single bond, triple bond, double bond. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, दोनों इतने पास आ जाते हैं कि सेम क्लाउड में घूम रहा है. मतलब आप पेबल सिटी का बच्चा हो, मैं गिरधारी का बच्चा हूं, हमारे बीच का बाउंड्री वॉल हटा दिया, तो हम थोड़े आपके वहां साइकिल चला रहे हैं, आप थोड़े हमारे यहाँ साइकिल चला रहे हो, तो हम कह रहे हैं देखो देखो हमारे ग्राउंड में साइकिल चल रहा है, आप दैट्स द कॉन्सेप्ट. ठीक है. Have you understood atomicity? What is atomicity? The number of atoms present in one molecule of an element, and these will be always non-metals. ये atomicity मेटल का कोई पूछ ही नहीं सकता है. मेटल का atomicity एक ही होता है हमेशा, डबल ट्रिपल नहीं हो सकता.
It's called double bond.
This is the double bond. Double bond means when you share two pair of electron. Each pair of electron is a bond. See, it's a bond between you and me. Bond means a sense of friendship, a sense of get-togetherness. So when that bond happens, then you have to give me something, I also give something. Then only bond happens. What do we call it? क्या बोलते हैं? Potluck. I'll bring parathas, you bring chicken. So we are bonding over one item. So it's a single bond. You are bringing patatas plus sweet dish. I am bringing chicken plus starters. Double bond. Then you are bringing plates also, and I am bringing mineral water also. Triple bond. ठीक है? ये सब 10 में आएगा आपको. So that your understanding is clear, I thought you should know this way, not just mug up. If you mug up, then you will not understand anything. ठीक है? तो क्या क्या सीखा आज आपने? आज के टॉपिक में आपने पहले सीखा आयन क्या होता है, एटॉमिसिटी क्या होता है, एंड the last two class, the hard work that we all did together was just to understand that periodic table, not ions, the electronic configuration. These all are there in the 4th chapter. Why we learned now? Now it becomes easier for us to understand why is Mg Mg2 plus, why is sodium chloride NaCl, and why is magnesium chloride MgCl2. That is no more a doubt in your head now. ठीक है ना? चलें. And now our Angad's favorite question, which he has been keeping on asking, तो उसका आंसर भी देना है. ओके, चलो आओगे यार, चिंता मत करो, अभी आएंगे. ओके ओके, फ्रॉम आयंस थोड़ा और कुछ देख लेते हैं, एक और लिस्ट बना लेते हैं. आयंस कैन बी monoatomic or it can be polyatomic. Monoatomic ions means, again in this you can have both cations as well as anions. The more you know these things, the more your chemistry will be strong. Okay, you can have cations as well as anions. This will make your subject knowledge very strong. Ions, monoatomic. Monoatomic मतलब एक atom का ion. Can you give me example? Yes, you know so many. Monoatomic cations, Na plus, Mg2 plus, then Al3 plus. एक ही atom होना चाहिए. Then nitrogen 3 minus, oxygen 2 minus, chlorine minus, then और जितना इच्छा डालते रहो. So these are all monoatomic cations, but we said that monoatomic only cations. So these are cations. Anions में क्या क्या आएंगे? Nitrogen 3 minus, oxygen 2 minus, chlorine minus, fluorine minus, bromine minus. Monoatomic. एक ही atom. इस 3 के साथ का monoatomic means one atom. You are getting worried with this 3. This 3 is, it lost 3 electrons. It is trivalent monoatomic anion. K plus यहाँ. ये क्या हुआ हमारा? Monovalent monoatomic cation, divalent monoatomic cation, trivalent monoatomic cation. Iyer. श्रीनिवास वेंकटेश्वर अय्यर, मुत्तुकुमार श्रीनिवास वेंकटेश्वर अय्यर। एक्कपरम पीरा वो ऐसे हो गया है। नाउ व्हाट इज दिस? दिस इज मोनोवैलेंट non-atomic anion. What is this? Divalent monoatomic anions. ठीक है, मोनोएटॉमिक मतलब एक ही एटम रहेगा, वन टाइप ऑफ एटम ओनली। चलें अभी पॉलीएटॉमिक। पॉली मींस मोर देन वन। मोर देन वन के एनायंस बड़े इजी है। कार्बोनेट, सल्फेट, राइट द नेम्स आल्सो। हाँ, आई विल नॉट राइट। नाइट्रेट, फॉस्फेट, इतना लिख लो, वही काफी है तुम्हारे लिए। एसीटेट, एसीटेट छोड़ दो, इसको एक दिन और। कार्बोनेट, कार्बोनेट कम्स फ्रॉम कार्बोनिक एसिड। इनका एसिड्स भी आपको पता रहना चाहिए, देन यू कैन नो वेदर दे आर 2+ और always remember their acids. So carbonate comes from carbonic acid, H2CO3. So 2 hydrogens went out. Each hydrogen is a positive one. 2 hydrogen went out, so left it with 2-. ये मैथमेटिक्स समझ में आ रहा है? तो ये 2- है, तो इसको कितना होना पड़ेगा? +1 होना पड़ेगा। +1 of 2 makes it +2, -2 neutral product। ठीक है, this comes from sulfuric acid, H2SO4। This comes from nitric acid, HNO3. This comes from phosphoric acid, H3PO4. Okay, when we were discussing about atomicity, there are 2 more examples. One is called phosphorus. ये कभी कभी आपको 1 मार्क में पूछ लेगा। phosphorus and sulfur, very stylish. Phosphorus comes as P4, sulfur comes as S8. ऑक्टाएटॉमिक है और एक टेट्राएटॉमिक है। ठीक है, like oxygen comes as O2, phosphorus comes as P4 and sulfur comes as S8. Okay, polyatomic cation. Polyatomic cation, one of the polyatomic cation that you should know is NH4+. This is known as ammonium. Ammonium. This is the only non-metallic cation. The only non-metallic cation in the entire chemistry is NH4+. So this has come from where? It has come from ammonia. Ammonia is NH3, neutral product. You added one more hydrogen to ammonia, तो प्लस हो गया, एक एक्स्ट्रा चार्ज खा लिया उसने। ये सब non-metallic है। Non-metallic cation सिर्फ एक ही है। Cations are always metallic because who is a cation? A cation is someone who loses electron. Metals lose electron. This is the only non-metallic cation in entire chemistry, so you should know this. ठीक है? The more you know these things, the more your life will be simpler from 10 onwards. And if you don't fall in love with these, then please devote 1 extra hour for chemistry till the time you have to study chemistry. Yes, sir.
Could you tell them once again, like CO3?
These are the acids from where these have borne out. So if this splits up, an acid is an electrolyte.
Part with hydrogen gets neutral.
अरे ये जब स्प्लिट करेगा ना, तो H+H+ 2 छोड़ेगा और CO3 2- छोड़ेगा। समझ में आया? अब ये मिलने से न्यूट्रल हुआ ना पूरा, 2+, 2-. Therefore the product for the H2CO3 is a product, is a compound known as carbonic acid. It exists. That means its overall charge is 0. How did the overall charge become 0? Hydrogens have a charge of ++, and this one will be CO3 2-. So if you sometimes forget CO3 is 1- or 2-, try to remember the parent acid from where CO3 came. Acids are those which release H+. ये आप class 10 में पढ़ेंगे। H+ is what? Proton. Proton. Hydrogen has got 1 proton, 1 electron. H+ means the electron is. So what is remaining? Hydrogen's nucleus has got 1 proton and hydrogen has got 1 electron. अगर आप ये इलेक्ट्रॉन को उड़ा दो तो क्या रह गया? एक प्रोटॉन रह गया। इसीलिए जब आप एसिड बनाते हो तो उस प्रोसेस को हम बोलते हैं प्रोटोनेशन। जो प्रोटॉन छोड़ने की काबिलियत रखता है वही एसिड है। दीज आर नथिंग बट प्रोटॉन्स। So 2H plus CO3 minus. So that makes it neutral. So question is, children will forget, sir, CO3 should be 2 minus or 1 minus. Then my dear friend, remember the acid. Sir, PO4 should be 3 minus or 2 minus. It comes from phosphoric acid. ये सब याद होना चाहिए, याद होना चाहिए. Otherwise, then only these will become strong. तो इससे एक शादी कराते हैं. आ जाओ, आज शादी कराएंगे किसका? सोडियम की शादी होगी कार्बोनेट के साथ. कार्बोनेट कैसा है? 2 माइनस, सोडियम प्लस 1. अब शादी करा दो. प्रोडक्ट क्या होगा? Na2CO3, सोडियम का कार्बोनेट, सोडियम बाइकार्बोनेट. ठीक है, सोडियम बाइकार्बोनेट नहीं, सोडियम कार्बोनेट. चले, सोडियम कार्बोनेट है ये. दिस इज नॉट सोडियम बाइकार्बोनेट. सोडियम बाइकार्बोनेट इज NaHCO3. Shall I rub this? So if somebody tells you how to make magnesium sulfate, let us see whether this is a correct formula or not. Magnesium comes from group 2, so plus 2. Sulfate is always minus 2. Barabar shadi. Divalent marrying divalent. MgSO4. No tension. Adjustment comes only when valencies are not same. मिटा इसको? चलिए. The last topic of the chapter. तो समझने में थोड़ा सा मुश्किल होगा, पहले ही बोल दिया. हाँ, अभी जो लास्ट टॉपिक आप समझोगे, it will be a little bit tough. But if you understand once, you'll understand forever. It is known as, okay, let's talk about first two more things. Atomic number. All these are chapter 4 topics we are studying. Atomic number and mass number. Atomic number is always number of protons. Remember, not number of electrons, number of protons. Number of protons is known as the atomic number. So what happens? Let's take oxygen. So this is oxygen. This is the nucleus of oxygen. Okay. And let's say this is the valence shell of oxygen. Let's make both the shells of oxygen. Right? So oxygen's atomic number is what? 8. Oxygen's atomic number is 8. We write it as O8. That means how many protons oxygen has? Oxygen has 8 protons. All the 8 protons reside in the nucleus. And if you are thinking of a neutral oxygen atom, if the atom is neutral, matlab kaisa? The very good boys, when they show themselves on periodic table, we show all the neutral atoms. In that case, the total positive charge should be equal to total negative charge. That means you are having 8 positive charge, so you should have 8 negative charge, which are actually the electrons. So many people say atomic number is number of electrons. Atomic number is number of electrons only when the atom is neutral. Otherwise, the better definition is always the number of protons. And these 8 electrons are present as 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. समझ में आया? Clear? Then we come to mass number. Mass number is number of protons plus number of neutrons. Now, protons and neutrons both reside where? In the nucleus. Therefore, it is also called as number of nucleons. What are nucleons? Protons and neutrons together. I stay in B tower and Arab stays in D tower. But together we are pebbleites. Together they are nucleons because they reside in the nucleus. Got it? Atomic number is represented by Z and mass number is represented by A. So an element in the periodic table will always be written like this: E, Z, A. So oxygen, how will we write? Oxygen will write 8, 16. How is it 16? That you don't know. Oxygen also has got how many? 8 neutrons out here. That makes it 16. So 16 nucleons. बहुत लोग ये सोचते हैं सर एटॉमिक नंबर का डबल होता है मास नंबर. ऐसा नहीं है, पहले पहले ऐसा ही फील होता है. उसके बाद लाइक हीलियम is 2, 4, ऑक्सीजन 8, 16, ऐसा कुछ. Understood the difference between atomic number and mass number? Atomic number is always the count of protons. This is chapter 4 stuff we are learning. And mass number is always the number of nucleons, that is electrons, sorry, neutrons and protons together. Neutrons, protons always reside in the nucleus, so they are called nucleons. ठीक है? Okay, let's do one problem. Sodium. Sodium has got an atomic number of 11 and a mass number of 23. Find the number of neutrons.
What?
23 minus 11. 1, 2. ठीक है? चलो. And now the last part. कैसा लग रहा है? मजा आ रहा है कि नहीं? हाँ सर. कहिए कैसा लग रहा है? अच्छा, चलिए आपको अच्छा सा दे. बहुत ने देखा होगा ग्रीव. ग्रीव, ग्रीव मतलब पास्ट टेंस. इसका पास्ट पार्टिसिपल है ग्रोन. फ्लू का पास्ट पार्टिसिपल क्या होना चाहिए? मैथमेटिक्स से देखते हैं. इसको x ले लो, इसको x ले लो, दोनों साइड को रेशियो लेते हैं. तो x क्या होना चाहिए? x इज इक्वल टू ग्रोन मल्टीप्लाइड बाई फ्लू आना चाहिए. पता नहीं आएगा नहीं. डिवाइडेड बाई ग्रू. जी ने जी को काटा, आर ने आर को काटा, ई ने ई को काटा, डब्ल्यू ने डब्ल्यू को काटा. क्या बच गया? एफ एल ओ डब्ल्यू एन. देखो मैथमेटिक्स भी वैसे ही है. ग्रू इज पास्ट टेंस and his past participle is grown. So flew का past participle क्या होगा? Look at Piyusha, as if I have asked kidneys to be donated. Look at her face. At least Anya also smiled today looking at this. What is this? Flew का क्या होगा? Flew का flown होता है, हमें नहीं पता, हमने x रख दिया. तो x को इसके साथ मल्टीप्लाई करो तो स्टेप क्या होता है? x into grew is equal to flew into grown, and then do the next step. चलो, बहुत अच्छा, सीख गए आप. आइए अब बात करेंगे समथिंग कॉल्ड रिलेटिव एटॉमिक मास. रिलेटिव एटॉमिक मास, ठीक है? आधा घंटा इसी में ही बात करना है. मुश्किल है थोड़ा समझना, तो ध्यान दीजिए. रिलेटिव एटॉमिक मास. So we're talking about atomic mass, the mass of an atom. You guys cannot even find out the mass of a LIC, and you are now trying to find out mass of an atom. So it won't be that easy as we are thinking. थोड़ा सा मुश्किल होगा. So what we do, we have to bring something called relative concept out here. Some relative concept. हाँ, कार्बन के साथ compare करेंगे. Some relative concept we have to bring out here. Let's say that एक example देते हैं. This is Earth, right? And इस अर्थ में there is a person called Jerry Das who stays here, and his weight is 100 kg, and other people have different weights. One day this fellow took a spaceship and went to a new planet, JD planet, and he named it. He's the only person out there. He's the only planet. And then slowly he says, from here Araf came to this planet. Okay? But there is a rule. The planet belongs to me. मेरा कानून चलता है. तो अरब को यहाँ पे फॉर्म फिलअप करना पड़ा. लिखा what is his mass? So say on Earth, Arab was something, let's say 50 kg.
But that's weight, right?
अरे तुम छोड़ो ना mass. I'm saying mass again. You're saying kg. His mass was 50 kg. Now he has to fill up a form in this planet. Now in this planet he goes and fills the form as 50 kg. People says no. Whose planet is? Who is the Malik of this planet? Me. Everything goes by my name. यहाँ का पैसा जयदीप, यहाँ का हवा जयदीप, यहाँ का खाना जयदीप, यहाँ का यूनिट जयदीप. So you have to compare yourself as what is your mass? So if he says kg, he will be given one tight slap. You have to say how many JDs. So he says, sir, I am 0.5 JD.
Yeah, plus
0.5, ठीक है ना? और यहाँ पे एक और सुमो रेसलर है चिंग योंगमिंग, वो है 200 केजी, उसको भी ले गया वहां पे। तो चिंग योंगमिंग वहां जाके बोलता है sayonara, I am 2JD. Okay, do you understand? So this is relative. We say Arab as related to Jaideep is half of Jaideep. We as of now do not know what is Arab's mass, but we have seen Jaideep Das. So we can very well, if we say, hey, be ready at the airport, we have a chief guest arriving tomorrow and we have to take one palki for him. पालकी सर कैसा वजन है उनका, 2JD है। वहां केजी नहीं चलता है उस प्लेनेट में, 2JD। And now years and years have passed and people are very well communicating in 2JD, 3JD, 1JD, 0.5JD। नया बच्चा जन्म हुआ 1 किलो का, तो बोला क्या 0.01JD। So that is how this planet is working. So we are exactly not measuring actual mass of anyone. We are measuring mass of everyone with relation to Jaideep. You think that I am saying something very idiotic? No, your country goes by rupee, that country goes by dollar. So how do you say in relation to that country? When you go, अभी आप जैसे US जाते हो, you see everything is very cheap. $1, $2, अरे $1 पीछे घूमते रहते हैं। अच्छा 85 rupees, हाँ। There is a, see, whenever a new man goes to US, उसके दिमाग में एक फाइल घूमते रहता है, INR convert.exe. Whenever you see anything in the shop, INR convert.exe. So you see a very nice doll, Barbie doll. How much? $2, $4, $10. $10 only. $10 मतलब 860 rupees का डॉल है वो। पीछे ये घूमते रहता है। Then you touch it, very costly, and then you keep it. Yes or no? So, but we are established. We are going relative. Now say suppose you have USD to spend and I have got say pound to spend, and we both are visiting, World Cup is being played in India and we have to spend in rupee, then also we can find relative conversion. If you know the strength of this currency with this currency with this currency, you can establish a relation between them also. It's possible. Doesn't make any great. So you might think that this planet may land up in problem. This planet will exactly land up in no problem. Because here also, some great person someday told you that 1000 grams make 1 kg, and so you are going by that. यहाँ भी कोई problem नहीं होगा. Here everything will be sold in JD units. जरा सोच के देखो, आम दीजिए कितना चाहिए? 0.2 JD. Right? In America, things are sold in ounces, not in grams or ml. Are they not working? They are working. So whenever we are trying to go for this something called atom's mass, we also have to have this sort of a concept, एक relative concept लेना होगा. तो relative atomic mass में हम क्या करते हैं? यहाँ भी एक JD create करना पड़ेगा. यहाँ का JD है कार्बन. Carbon is C612. Carbon के actually isotopes रहता है. Now isotopes you will not understand. Carbon occurs in 3 different atoms. One is C612, C611, C613, C614. There is a C614 also, which is carbon 14 radioactive. So we just take C612, the one that you see out here.
So is it like diamond graphite?
No, that's not diamond graphite. So this is this atom. This one is the JD. Are you trying to understand? And everyone will be compared with respect to this. Now there is a challenge. We compared Arav directly to Jaideep Das. Just see, what was Jaideep's weight? Oh, sorry, mass 100 kg. How much was Arav? Arav Bardwaj was how much? 50 kg. So we said that he is half JD. Because you are doing a linear comparison straight with JD. Now I have a separate concept. I am saying compare him with half JD. Compare him with half JD. Not directly with JD. Are you understanding? Half of JD. Half of JD is how much? 50 kg. Then we will say Arab is 1 JD. What is JD units? JD unit is always half of actual JD.
Yeah.
So Arab is how much? 1 JD. 1 JD. समझ में आ रहा है? We are not doing a straight conversion now. We are now doing the conversion to half of JD. Now say somebody came to this planet who is actually 25 kg on the earth. So that fellow will be said as half JD. Half JD. Sir, half JD should be 50 kg. Why are you saying? No. JD unit stands for half of JD. So JD पैदाइशी कितना है? 100. JD's half is how much? 50. That is the standard. So you'll compare with half of JD. Have you understood?
Yes.
That story comes here also. So we will be comparing every element with that of carbon 12. Now, in order to measure atomic mass, we have given a new unit. There's a unit, and this unit is known as AMU, atomic mass unit. ना ये ग्राम है, ना ये केजी है. ये एक unit है. We call it atomic mass unit, and it is represented as U. Nowadays, we no more write AMU. Earlier in our times, we used to write AMU. Now we just write U. This is like that kg. And now we have to assign him some value. How much was Jaideep on that planet? 100. So इसको भी तो कोई value assign करना पड़ेगा ना. Then only you can compare with him. तो इसको हम assign करते हैं. The atomic mass assigned to it is 12U. We have assigned it based on this 12. Carbon is assigned 12U. Rest all the elements will be compared with carbon. We have given him 12U. Let's take Jaideep, we gave 100 kg. And now we compared with half of Jaideep. All the relative atomic mass is mass of an atom as compared to 1/12 the mass of carbon 12 atom, where carbon 12 is assigned the value of 12 units. अभी लिखो मत, लिखने के ये एक दिन में नहीं होगा, टाइम लगेगा इसको, अभी पहले समझो. What was that planet? In that planet we said relative mass of any individual or any human is half of JD, JD being assigned the base measure of 100 kg. Are you understanding? I am 100 kg. Tomorrow in this planet a new guy comes who is also 100 kg. उसका वजन कितना होगा relative to me? 2 JD, because you are comparing to half of JD. Here we are comparing every atom with respect to carbon, not carbon, 1/12 of carbon. So let me write something and hold on. अभी कुछ लिखना मत, हाँ? Just hold on. Just hold on. The relative atomic mass of an element tells us how heavy or light an atom of an element is. How heavy or light? Heavy means more than one aega. I am JD, he is 2 JD, so he should be heavier than me. He is 0.8 JD, so he is lighter than me. How heavy or light an atom of an element is when compared to 1/12 the mass of carbon 12 atom. This is called carbon 12. Huh? We write it as carbon 12. Carbon 12 atom, where carbon 12 is assigned the value of 12U. First assign carbon 12 12U and then say how heavy is carbon 12 relative atomic mass, how heavy is an atom as compared to 1/12. For example, let's see some example. Right, let's see an example. Let's take an example of helium. Helium, if you see in the periodic table, it will be written as 2 and 4. As of now, you don't know, but ये मान के चलो, helium's relative atomic mass is 4U. What is the relative atomic mass of helium? 4U. It means one atom of helium, one helium atom is 4 times as heavy as 1/12 of a carbon 12 atom, which is 4 times as heavy as, how much is carbon 12? 12U. 12U cut gaya, so helium is 4. How heavy is helium? Now question arises, if you see the periodic table, hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon. So helium is any day lighter, lighter, because you are comparing with one, you are 4 times as heavy as 1/12 of carbon, not carbon. Carbon के 1/12 के 4 times heavy हो आप. Are you understanding? Not carbon. Carbon itself is 12. What is 1/12 of carbon? 1. 1 के मुताबिक आपका कितना है? You are 4. चलो. What is carbon 12? Sorry. What is carbon 12? How much have I assigned it? 12U. 1 carbon 12 is 12U. So 1/12 of carbon 12 is how much? 1U. समझ में आया? ये हीलियम जो है ना लौंडा, ये इसका 4 गुण है. हीलियम is 4U. That means he is 4 times 1/12 of carbon 12, not 4 times of carbon 12. 4 times of carbon 12 होने के लिए आपको 48 होना पड़ेगा.
So he's 1/3 of.
He is 4 times 1/12 of carbon, or 1/3 आप ले लो. 1/3 because he is 12, so 1/3 should be how much? 4. Let's look at oxygen. Carbon के बाद आता है oxygen. Okay, oxygen is 816. That means oxygen is 16U. Oxygen लेकिन भारी होगा, देखते जाओ. Oxygen is 16 times as heavy as 1/12 of carbon 12. That means oxygen is 16U. It's 16 times as heavy, not as carbon. 16 times as heavy as carbon 12, 1/12 of carbon 12. So how do we define the relative atomic mass of an element? Is its mass of the element, the relative mass, atomic mass of an atom is the mass of the atom as compared to 1/12 the mass of carbon 12, where carbon 12 is assigned the value of 12U.
So why carbon?
आप ऑक्सीजन लिए लिया तभी, कुछ और लेने से भी चलता. People took carbon. Convention. So if you take carbon, now, so please understand, this is the standard, but comparison is not with this. Comparison is with only this much length of this. इसके मुताबिक आप कितने लंबे हो, छोटे हो, समझ में आ रहा है? Not. So say someone is, say this portion is 1/5 of this, and somebody is double the size of the marker pen. So he is double the 1/5 करके आए. Clear हो रहा है अभी? So the relative definitions you will get in books. So the relative atomic mass of an element tells us how heavy or light an atom is, of an element is, when it is compared to 1/12, not with carbon. Huh? This is the only challenge. It is compared with 1/12. तो आइए अब आप लिखिए, मैं डिक्टेट करता हूं. What is relative atomic mass? Right, relative atomic mass. Write down. First you should write this definition, then this one. You write down the relative atomic mass of an atom. The relative atomic mass of an atom is defined as the mass of the atom as the relative mass of the atom, sorry, not mass of the atom, as the relative mass of the atom when compared with 1/12 the mass of a carbon atom, when compared with 1/12 the mass of a carbon atom, comma, where carbon 12 has been assigned the value of 12U, where carbon 12 is assigned the value of 12U. The relative atomic mass of an element is the relative mass of the atom as compared to 1/12 the mass of a carbon atom, where the carbon atom is assigned the value of 12U. Now you write the other line. It tells us how heavy or light an atom is when compared to 1/12 the mass of a carbon atom. How heavy or light? See, in my planet, you compared yourself with me. 2 JD means you are twice as heavy as me. Half JD means you are half light as me. So here also you'll get to know heavy and light, but not with respect to carbon. 1/12 of कार्बन को खंड खंड करके एक खंड लिया, 12 खंडों में से एक खंड के साथ. It's something like, so it's like if you take a carbon atom and you divide the carbon atom into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So what is this? This is 1/12. Yes or no? You are comparing with this much portion of carbon. So now it's very easy. Now you go to the periodic table, and in that periodic table, everyone's relative atomic mass is given. Like say hydrogen 1, so hydrogen ka rahega 1.008. Hydrogen is 1. So hydrogen is always written as H11. Okay, hydrogen ko 1 hi rahega. So when we take this as 1, we say hydrogen is 1 time as heavy as 1/12. Hydrogen is exactly equal to 1/12. Helium is how much? Helium is sir 4. That means 4 times as 1/12. इस टुकड़ा, ये टुकड़ा चॉकलेट का 4 times है हीलियम. ऐसा करते करते one day we will lead to carbon. Carbon is how much? Carbon is 12 times as this chocolate का piece. मतलब पूरा कार्बन. कार्बन कार्बन ही है. ठीक है? Nitrogen. Nitrogen is how much? 14. Nitrogen is 14 times as heavy as this छोटा टुकड़ा. अब और एक इंटरेस्टिंग चीज, ये हुआ relative atomic mass, but again you will see in periodic table, if you go at home today, you will find all the relative atomic masses are in points. That we will see later. There will be relative atomic masses. So what do you see in a periodic table? Okay, पहले सीखते हैं. In a periodic table, you don't see relative atomic mass, but you are actually seeing the element with the atomic number, and this is the mass number. Mass number. And I told you that mass number is the count of न्यूक्लियॉन्स. अगर आप क्लोरीन को देखोगे तो क्लोरीन यहाँ 17 लिखा रहेगा, यहाँ पे लिखा रहेगा 37.5 मोस्ट प्रोबेबली. हाँ, क्लोरीन 35.5 लिखा है, सॉरी 35.5. नाउ यू स्टार्ट आस्किंग, सर सेड सम ऑफ न्यूक्लियॉन्स, ये पॉइंट में कैसे आया? इज समबडी हाफ, like half proton half neutron? So this is one thing we will discuss later. Remember this thing. Why do you get decimal mass numbers? This is not possible. Mass number is always mass of protons and mass of neutrons. Decimal means something was half. That's not possible. ठीक है? इसको हम बाद में देखेंगे. In fact, if you go to a good periodic table, everything will be in decimal. Look at hydrogen 1.008. Look at beryllium 9.0122. Everything is in decimal. So there is a contradiction out here. But थोड़ी देर के लिए हम ये मान के चलेंगे that in the periodic table, when you see an element, what are you seeing? You are seeing the atomic number and the mass number. And this is protons plus neutrons. Yeah, right. Now, the best part of the discussion. Let's take one atom of oxygen, 8, 16. Okay, we're not taking the decimal one. Decimal we'll address later. Why does the decimal come? We are taking 8 and 16. Now see, what does it tell me? Number one, what is the relative atomic mass of oxygen? We say 16U. Clear? ये तो अब तक यही तो पढ़ा, 16U. Understood? Number two, there is another concept called gram atomic mass. Gram atomic mass unit. The American dollar is a very costly dollar. People in a poor country like Zimbabwe also felt dollar. Zimbabwean dollars are absolutely they're no value at all. पर कहने के लिए वो भी अपने आप को डॉलर ही कहते हैं. भिखारी भी अपने बेटे को कहता है, अल्लाह राजा बेटा क्या कर रहा है. वो खुद भिखारी है लेकिन बेटा राजा बेटा. Everyone loves to call themselves. So when it comes to this 16U, as scientists, it doesn't give us any feel of, वो वजन वाला फीलिंग नहीं आता है. वजन वाला फीलिंग नहीं आ रहा है 16. Weight वाला फीलिंग. So we need some weight वाला feeling. To give that, we introduce another unit called gram atomic mass unit, which we also call as GAMU. GAMU. समझ में आया? This is nothing but the relative atomic mass unit expressed in grams. But these are not the Ratnadeep grams. So इसको हम 16 ग्राम लिखते हैं. Actually, this should be written as 16 gamu, but you people are such bad in your habit that the amu goes away and you call it only 16 gram, 16 gram. Just like kg and kg force.
Yeah.
So when you did what do you call Antoine Lavoisier's law and all those law of constant proportion, you used to say, na, 16 grams reacted and those so many reacted. That gram is actually gamu, gram atomic mass. This is Zimbabwean dollar, not American dollar. लेकिन जिम्बाब्वे के लोग भी अपने आप को रईस मानते हैं. हमारी बेटी भी तो ऐश्वर्या ही है ना. मिस इंडिया नहीं हुई तो क्या हुई? हर बाप के लिए उसकी बेटी ऐश्वर्या है. गामू. Understood? Relative atomic mass expressed. So in labs, when we say, suppose we have a reaction like this in lab, C plus O2 gives you CO2. How do we write it? We straight away write 12 grams reacts with 32 grams gives you 44 grams. These are all gram atomic mass unit. 12 grams react with 32 grams gives you 44 grams. आपको कैसे पता ये 12 ग्राम है? आपने वजन किया क्या? नहीं सर, हमें ये पता है कि ये 12U है और 12U को ही हम 12 ग्राम्स लिखते हैं. समझ में आया?
So GM.
This G is not Ratnadeep G.
No, sir. GAMU is equal to U.
U expressed in grams is GAMU.
Oh.
U expressed. My daughter is Ashwarya for me, na? U expressed in grams is GAMU. Understood? Next.
Well, GMU plus 22 GMU.
Gram atomic mass unit. Now wait. Third. What is the mass number of oxygen is also 16. Just see. Beauty देखते जाओ. पूरा game 16 में ही हो रहा है. देखो. The mass number, atomic mass is how much? 16U, relative atomic mass. What is the gram atomic mass? 16 grams. What is the mass number? 16. मतलब ये चीज जानने से आप सब जानते हैं. And at last you raise the big question, sir, what is the actual mass of an oxygen atom? End of the day, this query will be, sir, if I take it to Ratnadeep, then how much does oxygen weigh? Don't you have this query also? Yes, this query is the most important one. So we say 1 mole. What is 1 mole? Mole is amount of substance. 1 mole of oxygen atoms. MOLE short form में लिखने से MOL है. MOLE is the full name. Short form में लिखते हैं 1 mole of oxygen atom. अच्छा, 1 dozen oxygen atom कितना है? 12. 1 pair 2. 1 mole होता है 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 atoms. समझ में आ रहा है? कितना atoms? 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. Huge. If you take so many atoms to Ratnadeep, they will weigh exactly 16 grams. This is called molar mass. Yes, Ratnadeep wala, ilaichi wala, actual ilaichi wala grams. This is called molar mass. Means we say molar mass is 16 grams per mole. तो इसको हम लिखते हैं 16G mole minus 1. So the fourth one we say molar mass of oxygen is equal to 16 grams. Now hold on. Oxygen के बाद कोई भी एक एलिमेंट सोचो तो चलिए क्लोरीन समझ लो. चलो क्लोरीन समझ लेते हैं. क्लोरीन्स relative atomic mass is how much? 37 ले लो. चलो chlorine is actually 37. We will not go by 35.5. We'll take 37. Or say let's take what do you call neon ले लो. Neon is how much? 10. Neon का 20 है. ठीक है ना? Neon is 20. Oxygen is how much? Oxygen is how much? 16. That means neon is heavier than oxygen, obviously. See, the relation becomes very simple. We are all comparing everything to 1/12. As 1/12 of Arab, you are 2. As 1/12 of Arab, I am 8. So if we just throw away Arab, I should be heavier than you. No questions asked. So I say neon is 1020, oxygen is 816. We just look at these two numbers and we should be able to say neon should be heavier, because this fellow was also compared to carbon, this was also compared to carbon, right? This is heavier. It means if you take 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 neon atoms, then they will weigh how much? 20 grams. ज्यादा है ना?
So then how do we know the weight of the neon?
हाँ, तो weight of one by, so one atom of oxygen will be 16 divided by 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 grams per atom. Very light. ये जो समझा ना, उसका grade 11 chapter number 1 आराम से समझ में आएगा. This is the heart of stoichiometry. In fact, this is what I will now do with the Cambridge batch also just after you. We will do mathematics with them. How much reacts with how much. The part that got cancelled for you, they have that part. And then we will predict how much this compound में कितना रहेगा, कितना नहीं. Actuals, real life chemistry. ये हम लोगों का भी था और हम भी करेंगे once our syllabus is over. वरना GADHA बन के 11 में जाओगे. हाँ, गधा. मुश्किल होगा. ये 16, ये मास नंबर बहुत स्टाइलिश चीज है. द मास नंबर टेल्स यू व्हाट इज द रिलेटिव एटॉमिक मास. द मास नंबर टेल्स यू व्हाट इज द मोलर मास. द मास नंबर टेल्स यू व्हाट इज द गामू. ये तो एटम के लिए हुआ, ऐसे मॉलिक्यूल्स के लिए भी होता है. तब गामू बन जाता है मामू. मॉलिक्यूलर मास यूनिट एक्सप्रेस इन ग्राम्स, है ना. सो लेट्स से CO2. Let's say CO2. What is the molar mass of CO2? We will say 44 grams per mole. This is the molar mass of CO2. 1 mole of CO2 will have how much? 44. Now I bring that equation once again. Okay, don't worry, we'll continue this in next class also, don't worry. So I bring the equation once again. C plus O2 gives me CO2. Okay, so this is how much. Now you may say, sir, do this reaction in actual Ratnadeep terms. Actual Ratnadeep terms. Yes, possible. 12 grams carbon you bring, 12 grams carbon. React it with how much? 32 grams of oxygen. You get how much? 44 grams of CO2. In order to bring 12 grams of carbon, you have to bring 1 mole carbon atoms. समझ रहे हो? मतलब 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 atoms लाओगे तो 12 ग्राम हुआ. In order to make 32 grams, you have to bring 2 mole oxygen atom or 1 mole oxygen molecule. This is the molar mass of oxygen molecule. So we will say 1 mole oxygen molecule, which is equal to 2 mole oxygen atoms. दो मिलके तो एक होता है ना. 1 molecule of oxygen is 2 atoms of oxygen. This will give you how much? 1 mole CO2. Means 6.022 10 to the power 23 carbon atoms react with 6.022 10 to the power 23 oxygen molecules, give you 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 carbon dioxide molecules. And that number 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 is Avogadro's number. It has nothing to do with Avogadro's finding. He did not do any findings in that number. It's as a respect given to him. Amido Avogadro, he is an Italian scientist. उसके नाम पे ये दिया गया. It's a unique number. So when we do in gases in higher chemistry, we don't say this as molar mass. There we say molar volume. And molar volume is how much? 22.4 liters. 1 mole of oxygen at standard temperature will be always 22.4. 1 mole of hydrogen 22.4. लेकिन on molecules का count अलग है. अभी के लिए इतना जान के रखिए. What is relative atomic mass? This you should know as per your syllabus. ये बाकी आप जान के रखिए. Carbonic mass means
Not, they don't compare elements with carbon.
everyone, all these are compared with carbon only.
दोनों ही काम है प्रोटॉन।
मतलब वही यू आस्किंग इट आउट, रेड इट समवेयर और जस्ट आस्किंग इट? फिर से पढ़ लेना तब समझ में आएगा, ठीक है। ये पोर्शन को एक बार और रिवाइज करेंगे अगले क्लास में, बट किताब को पढ़िएगा। और हमारे को आपको पढ़ाने लायक कुछ नहीं है इस चैप्टर में, बिकॉज